everyone, I'm Jeff Kelley with VADA here at the VADA 2025 Annual Convention. Here today with Gerald Lackey, the DMV Commissioner, now 2.5 years on the job, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so Gerald and I sat down in July 2023. You were about 100 days onto the job. You've really taken a real modern, I want a youthful, kind of energetic approach to transforming this agency. And we've actually seen some of this happen in the last 2 years. So first of all, I want to kind of go back 2 years. When you hit the ground in Virginia here, you did not come from the public sector, you came from roofing and consulting, and you came to the agency. What were some of the challenges and what was your goal then when you stepped into DMV?
Well, my goal was similar to how it had been in my previous careers, which was around transforming an organization. So it was to get to know the people, get to know the mission, and then figure out how do we remove some of the barriers that we have in terms of delivering that mission better. One of the things that surprised me was the speed that you move in the public sector is different because of the amount of stakeholders that you need to get involved in sort of any decision that you want to make. So that has impacted a bit of how we've gone about the transformation in terms of bringing people on and getting lots of different voices in the room, but it's been a positive experience.
Yeah. And I mean, since then, there's two parts of the DMV, and a lot of the public may not realize this, right? The public knows about you get a license, you got to title your car, register your car, all that. We have seen, though, some real interesting public-facing changes. One of those is a new website, right? And I remember this new website really hits your 4 key values really heavily, right? What are those 4 key values again, for those who don't know?
You mean our missions?
Your missions, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the missions.
So it's serving the motoring public, securing identities, safeguarding lives, and supporting industry partners. Yeah. We added the 4th mission there, the supporting industry partners. It had not been called out in our previous missions, but it is part of our responsibility in code, as well as I think an important part of how we get work done in the modern world. So I appreciate you noticing that. I mean, the website was a huge first step for us in terms of better communicating to our customers. We've continued that journey with changing how we write emails, how we send out notices, just to make things simpler and easier to understand, because if you can figure out what you need to go do, you're not going to have to struggle and come in and come back and come in and come back. We want to tell you what you need to do right the first time.
It's funny, no one really thinks of the DMV or a state DMV as being a fun, simple, easy place, but you go to the website and I just got to say the vibe is different in Virginia when you go to that DMV website. It's a nice looking site, it's easy to use. I renewed my plates on there. You can get in and out really quickly, so that's one of the public facing things. We also talked earlier about the mobile IDs. So does this mean I can truly leave my wallet at home now that I have Apple Pay and my ID?
Well, according to law, you're going to still have to carry your plastic ID for the time being because we're in that transition phase, but we will be launching at full scale the mobile ID in August of 2025, so just in about 2 months. Unlike some of the other states that went out and did this, we have made sure that we have multiple use cases for you. So in a lot of states, you got a mobile ID. The only place you could use it was the TSA, which is perhaps the one place that you're going to have your physical credential with you. Yeah. So in Virginia, we've worked with a lot of other institutions to make sure that you can use this ID at the ABC store, any of the local bars that you go to, any law enforcement that stops you, if you want to go vote in elections, if you want to go to a casino, you want to go use it at a lottery. So we have, and including at the DMV itself. So we've tried to create this broad network of use cases that allows you to use this and like you said, really make it so that you can take it wherever your phone is and not have to worry as much about where your credential is. But for now, you technically should still have your credential with you.
I'll keep it in the car, but to leave my wallet at home now, that's a big step in my life. So we've talked a little about the public-facing things, right? What are some of those things that dealers see changing? What are some of the things you're working on for the dealers of Virginia?
So we've started, and it's going to be a multi-year journey to get to a fully digital electronic title. And this is another situation where this is not something that DMV is going to do on its own. Like we have online dealer communities, we've got the VADA, and we've got other stakeholders that really want to have a voice in that journey. And there's no one right way to do it. That's part of what the challenge is. That journey has started, so we've got Title Tech and DealerTrack have both started phase 1, which is to have dealers scan stuff in rather than having to send boxes of paper to us. V2 is close behind them, and CVR should be later this year. We expect all of them, except for CVR, to be up and running, meaning all of the dealers who are using those online dealer services to be scanning stuff in and sending it to us electronically. That takes a lot of time to lay out and takes a lot of manual work off of the dealers itself. That's just phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be fully digitizing the process over a period of about 3 years. And there's multiple challenges that we're going to have to work through there, like what is an e-signature, what legislative authority do we need, how do we prevent fraud, all of these kinds of things that we'll need to figure out. But that's where the partnership and these steering committees that we've set up will help to guide us through that process.
You're also a leader who, we heard from a speaker here earlier who talked about leaders still need to pick up the trash, which I thought is a good example because you as a leader at DMV have really gotten in the weeds. You got your CDL, you really learned the mechanics of this business. Have you spent time in dealerships talking to dealers? Obviously you're here at the VADA convention. What have you done to educate yourself on how the dealers of Virginia operate?
Yeah, so that's a great question. First of all, I still pick up trash in my own facilities.
Of course, yeah.
I absolutely think that you got to role model the kind of behavior you want. So if you're not willing to pick up the trash, why should anybody else in your organization? I think any business owner knows that, and I think that's one of the things about the dealers that I love is they have this sense of what it means to take full ownership of a business. They're entrepreneurs. They're small businesses and communities, and in some cases they're large businesses across multiple states. But that mentality is one that I think we're trying to bring into the DMV. In terms of my relationship with dealers, I am obviously also the chair of the Motor Vehicle Dealer Board, so I spend a lot of time with the Motor Vehicle Dealer Board and looking at issues relevant to the dealer community, whether it's advertising laws, whether it's manufacturer direct sales, whether it's franchise agreements. Those are sort of in my formal capacity, something I'm doing every week. In addition to that, though, I do spend a lot of time at events like the VADA and the VIADA. I've been out to several auction houses just to get a sense for how those businesses run, several dealerships. I enjoy getting out there and understanding what the customers need. And dealers are a business customer of ours. And that is a mentality that, again, I think we're trying to shift and bring into the DMV, where traditionally we've focused on the citizen customer, you or me walking in to get a license or a registration. But what about our business customers? Those are people that we have vital relationships with, but that we're interacting with in a different way than we are with our citizens. So we're adapting our leadership structure and some of our operations to focus on those two different kinds of customers. In the business world, you call it a B2C and a B2B world. Different mentalities, different operations, different focuses, but vitally important. So I right now spend a lot of my time with the business community understanding what they need.
Sure. You were appointed under Governor Glenn Youngkin into this role. This is a nonpartisan role, however, right? You serve. What happens at the end of Youngkin's term? Do you continue? How does your role change, or does it?
Well, I think that right now the DMV has kicked off a couple major multi-year transformations. We have a $95 million, 3.5-year move to the cloud. We've got this 3 to 5 year journey on the e-titling that I just spoke about, and then several others that we haven't even talked about here. My hope is that I will continue into the next administration. Really, it's because I think we need to finish up what we started. And while I have a ton of faith in my team, and I think any great leader could come in and pick up the work with the plans that we've put together, I like to finish what I start. And I think that there's a unique opportunity that we are at right now, early part of the 21st century, exactly where we were 100 years ago when we were formed as an agency. If we get the foundations right, Virginia will be well set for 40 to 50 years to come. I have a vision for that, and my hope is that I can convince others that that's a vision worth buying into, regardless of which political party you subscribe to.
Yeah, for sure. I've always found you to be a real unique leader, this guy who came in from the private sector into the public sector. You really seem to live the brand of the DMV. What excites you about this level of work? I think it's fair to say most people wouldn't get excited about going to the DMV and working, but you've really turned it into what seems like a great place to work with a neat Virginia. You represent Virginia well. Why is the DMV so interesting to you as a business leader?
Yeah. Well, first, I'm going to push back a little bit because we hear this a lot. There is this general trope out there of the DMV, regardless of what state you're in, of being this horrible experience. we have a 4.5% out of 5, or 4.5 out of 5 star rating from our customer feedback scores. When we actually did a survey last year, a random sampled survey of over 1,000 different Virginians, we found that compared to their experiences with their cable companies, and a couple other state agencies, which I won't name, their telephone companies and things like that, that we rated number 1 in terms of a customer experience. Are there exceptions to that? Absolutely.
As with any.
As with any, but we're running 4.5 million people interact with us every single year out of about 8.8 million Virginians. They have a great experience by and large. And then, we also have the opposite side of what we do, which is compliance. If you find yourself on the opposite side of the law, we are a law enforcement organization. We're not purely customer service. So if you don't have insurance or you've gotten a DUI, you have to deal with us in a capacity that probably doesn't excite you. But that's part of our mission, it's part of our responsibility. But to answer your question, why do I enjoy it? I love the people. And when I was in roofing, I loved roofing. Why? Because I just love getting in. I'm an operator at heart. And I love getting in to know what the people are passionate about, what they're expected to deliver. And again, it's about connecting with that authenticity, touching that stone, that why do we exist, mission, and figuring out how do we bring that to the forefront. Because I believe that when employees understand what their purpose is, when the organization and leaders understand what their purpose is and they're passionate about it, and they feel that they can pursue it without being encumbered, they have a better work experience, and our customers have a better customer experience. And if I can do that, then I'm not just impacting the lives of 2,000 DMV employees, I'm impacting the lives of 8 million Virginians. And I don't know, that gets me up in the morning.
That's great.
And I appreciate that I can leave that kind of impact behind in the world.
Yeah, well, I know Virginians and dealers appreciate the work you've done. Dr. Gerald Lackey, thank you again so much for joining us here today on VADA, and continue good luck with the work.
Thank you
so much, Gerald.